104 former admirals of the Turkish Navy are being condemned for issuing a so-called declaration urging Turkey not to abandon the 1923 Montreux Convention, which deals with traffic in the Bosphorus Straits. So, what is this convention? And why is it stirring up controversy almost 100 years later? This is the Montreux Convention Decoded. Let's start with a little history lesson. Now, the straits we're talking about are the Bosphorus, Sea of Marmara, and the Dardanelles. Turkey controlled both straits during the Ottoman Empire. There was a time when Russia controlled the northern banks, so the Ottomans would grant free passage to their fleet of merchant vessels to pass through. In 1833, Russia defeated Turkey and made a move to protect its southern borders. It demanded Turkey not grant passage to non-Black Sea powers. This agreement was annulled when Europe signed up to the London Straits deal, denying non-Turkish warships access to the Black Sea during peace times. The shaky deal lasted until after the First World War, when it was replaced by the Lausanne Convention, and the newly formed Turkish Republic and Russia pushed for reform and eventually signed up to the Montreux Convention. Now, it allowed Turkey to close the strait to warships when it was at war and to permit merchant ships free passage. The agreement has stood the test of time until now. So, what's all this recent fuss about? In early April, more than 100 former Navy admirals signed a so-called declaration that the proposed Canal Istanbul could harm Turkish security because, they said, it could invalidate the 85-year-old international treaty designed to prevent a military build-up in the Black Sea. The statement was interpreted as a direct challenge from the military to the civilian government, a situation that, for many, echoed coup times. The military, which has long seen itself as the guarantor of Turkey's secular constitution, has staged 3 coups in Turkey's recent past. And with the 2016 failed coup still fresh in people's mind, the criticism was enough to spark an investigation. So let's take a look at Turkey's experience with military dictatorships. In 1960, the commander of the land forces, General Cemal Gürsel, demanded political reforms and he resigned when they weren't met. In May that year, the army began an almost bloodless coup. The leaders established a 38-member National Unity Committee with Cemal Gürsel as chairman. The Democrat leaders were imprisoned and later hanged. A decade later, a third coup took place in 1981. Politicians were arrested and Parliament, political parties and trade unions were dissolved. And that brings us to the failed coup in 2016. 254 people were killed, stopping the army from, once again, attempting to steal power from democratically elected politicians. So let's go back to Canal Istanbul. Plans to create a second waterway were drawn up in 2011 and approved last month. Its aim is to ease heavy traffic and reduce accidents on the current Bosphorus Strait. Turkey insists that the 1936 Montreux Convention will not apply to the new multi-billion-dollar Canal Istanbul. But the government argues it's a long-term viable source of alternate revenue for Turkey's economy. So, when the government said the admirals' letters echoed the coup times, this is the history they were drawing from. A time when the army was the guardian of the secular state. But times have changed. The president is now the commander-in-chief of the Turkish military, and the army derives its power from the president's office, not the other way around. Let us know what you think. Send us your comments and suggestions to our YouTube channel, and you can find me on Twitter @Mindy Nusafora.